World of Tanks subscriber replay. My name as always is Maxwell, and today's video is from the user Babis74, that's Babis74, and he's driving the KV-5 on an encounter battle on Ensk. Now the reason I like showing KV-5 replays is because I own this tank and I never really was able to make it work for me because of that little machine gun turret at the front there was pretty much a guaranteed penetrating hit to anybody who had a half decent gun. Now obviously even with getting penetrated every single time from the front, this tank still has a very large amount of hit points at 1780 for its tier, being tier 8. So this thing was able to soak up a good, brilliant shot there, setting the guy right on fire, but luckily he has a fire extinguisher. But yeah, with this giant health pool, then this thing was still very difficult to shift off the battlefield just because of its hit points. But if you know how to play it properly, then you are able to angle it nicely and engage things at a medium to long distance. Then they can't pick up that little machine gun turret, and you can be a right beast and almost impossible to shift off the battlefield when played correctly. So obviously, for anybody who doesn't know, the KV-5 is a tier 8 premium heavy tank for the Russians. I'm fairly sure it costs 7,500 gold, which is significantly cheaper than the other tier 8 premium tanks. Obviously the low being 12,500, the T-34 being 12,000. Not sure how much the Type 59 is when it's on sale, because it seems to pop up and down out of the shop all of the time. The other good thing about this tank is its ability to ram things, because if you look at the size of the thing is an absolute giant. So when you ram somebody, you are almost certainly going to do some serious damage to them and definitely take out their tracks in the process. So just going to come around the side here and try and get a shot on this this IS-6. IS-6 obviously not 100% sure where to shoot because he hit him right in the tracks there and was unable to get a penetrating hit. Finally somebody is able to put some damage through that little machine gun turret. But it looks like the enemy has flooded the centre of the map there. We're just going to try and take out that IS-6 in the distance. Looks like the other IS-6 here has been able to get some damage through, but gets himself taken out by his allies. So the other good thing about this tank is you can use it to push down a flank and just brute force your way through. If you ever see a KV-5 brute forcing his way through, then definitely go with him, as he is a massive bullet sponge, and the enemy, for some reason, even though he's so tough, the enemy will still try and take him out ahead of you. So it's normally a good idea to go with this guy and let him punch a hole through the enemy's lines while you come through as well and mop up. Now you will have noticed that for the majority of this match this guy was using gold ammunition. I'll let you decide whether you agree with that or not, but one thing I will say is that the penetration of this tank and this gun is pretty abysmal. It only has an average penetration of 175, I think, so definitely underpowered for its tier. In fact, there are tier 6 tanks which can have a gun with the same penetration. So using the gold ammunition on a gold tank, I'll let you decide whether you agree with that or not. Personally, I think if he's got the cash to waste, then fair enough, and let him go ahead and do that. Because even with a gold tank, probably not going to make a profit. But as you can see, with a significant amount of tier 8s and tier 7s on each side, that extra penetration was probably necessary. So just going to come up and back up this IS-6, as the allies are going to have to get in and try and do something about these guys taking the centre. You can see the Tiger 2 taking his time, trying to get a shot on that machine gun turret, just about missing and hitting the side armour instead, which ended up bouncing. Able to finish off that T-34, and then just going to keep slowly pushing, which is what you want to do with this tank. Don't just sit and rest on your laurels. Got a good shot there on that KV-1S and able to set him on fire and take him out. But yes, you don't want to be resting on your laurels with this tank. You want to continue pushing and continue getting in on the enemies. You can see it's super Pershing coming around the corner there, trying to take somebody out. Should be able to get a good hit on this on that 3000, was that a 3001? I'm pretty sure it was, and that took most of the base capture points off. Unfortunately, the enemy does have more tanks than them in the area, So going to have to play this one pretty smart. This Tiger 2 playing peekaboo pretty well there, looking like he knows exactly where to shoot. Let's have a look. Yeah, as you can see, the amount of hits that have gone through that little machine gun turret there. So just going to back off and try and stop this this IS from getting a flanking maneuver on. But you see he's on the other side of that building, so not able to get a shot on him. Luckily the Tiger 2 only hit the track, although that second shot definitely went through that machine gun turret. So like I said, as you can see, if people know where to shoot, you can get a penetrating hit almost every time on this tank. You really need to protect that machine gun turret or engage at medium to long range to try and minimize the chances of the enemy putting a shot exactly where they want. So unfortunately not... Oh no, in fact... Oh yes, sorry. Getting confused there. I was going to say not quite got the damage to be able to take out this IS in a single shot, so going to have to play this one carefully. Although it looks like somebody else, that tank destroyer there, the SU-100 M1, was able to take off the majority of his hit points. Unfortunately, the IS is significantly faster than the KV-5, so able just to circle around and probably get in behind him before he is able to catch up with him. So just going to reverse around now to try and catch him unawares. As you can see, he comes around the corner with his gun pointing down. Unfortunately, his shot did miss, and the shot of the IS only able to take out the tracks of the KV-5. So it's just, is that an IS-6? It is indeed an IS-6 and a KV-5 left. This shot should go through, and indeed it did, and took off his last 76 hit points. How is that IS-6 faring? Not very well, only 120 hit points, and now there is a Super Pershing. And if there is one tank in this game which is tougher than the KV-5, it is the Super Pershing. As you can see, doing that pretty well there, keeping his... only having his track pointing out as he approached, so playing that pretty smart. Unfortunately, the reload speed of the KV-5, although it does have a low penetration for its tier, it does have a pretty good reload speed and able to take out that Super Pershing before he's able to get a shot on him. So somehow that IS-6 is still alive up against that Tiger 2, and the Tiger 2 hasn't spotted the KV-5. In fact, did spot the KV-5 at the last minute, but got himself taken out, and he was indeed the penultimate tank of the game, and the IS-6 takes out the 3001p for the victory. So that was Babis74 in the KV-5, showing that this tank can still be an immovable object even with that very weak machine gun turret. So thank you very much for sending that clip in. Thank you to you guys for watching, and I will catch you next time.